Awesome. Good morning, everyone. It's actually a pleasure to be here on stage and see some people face to face again after a lot of online conferences. And actually, preparing this, I had to think about when was the first conference about corporate innovation I attended. And that's roughly 5, 6, 7 years back, not as a co-founder of rready, but actually as an innovation manager of Swisscom. Swisscom is the largest IT telecommunication company of Switzerland. And my task back then was actually to scout startups, to scout technologies out in the market, hence that's why I joined conferences, in order to bring them back to the corporate. Soon did I realize that this is very difficult to do. The pace and the expectation of the startups to match with the one of the corporate, which is, by the way, government-owned, was very hard to do. And soon did I realize that we are actually lacking a culture of innovation, and we have heard it before today. Building a strong culture of innovation which can lead to tangible results is super crucial. And by chance, at the conference again, I got to know this guy called Mark Randall. He worked for Adobe, had 3 exits in his lives, and at Adobe he started what's today called Kickbox, a very gamified methodology how to put the employees into the center of innovation in a very gamified manner. And in the last years I actually saw how entrepreneurship can really leave tangible results while upskilling employees. And this is what we still do now as a spin-out of Swisscom. We stay true to what we started to believe very soon. The biggest asset of a company are indeed the employees. And this is what I bring to you today, a story about entrepreneurship, about really high ups, really low lows, about the spin-out, and most importantly, about passion for innovation and for bottom-up innovation, because I think there is a lot of potential still left. And the story actually starts with Anna. Anna is an employee at the corporate. I won't mention any names. But she works for a corporate, and one day she goes to the office and she finds in her email box, next to the other 100 emails, this one. From C-level: "Dear Bigot Assets, dear employees, please submit your ideas. You are important to this company." And of course, Anna is motivated, so she has tons of ideas. So she submits one without hesitation. Zack, submitted. Weeks go past. At one point, the management board gathers around the big round table and starts looking at those ideas. They evaluate them, and at some point, they also get to Anna's idea. They discuss it, and they finally conclude, this is not a fit. Not in our strategy for now. So Anna gets, Anna is sad, obviously. But it wouldn't be Anna if Anna is not there to conquer the world and to bring the corporate forward. So another idea is being submitted. Few weeks pass, she gets a no. Anna is losing faith. But again, she has a third idea. The third idea is really good, she thinks, so she submitted it. A few weeks pass, and finally, she gets a yes. She's excited about it. And the management board basically decides, well, this idea is clearly in this field of expertise of Peter. So we delegate it to Peter. Let me introduce Peter to you. This is Peter. Peter is the domain expert, of course. But also, he's very busy. Of course, because he's a domain expert. So what does he do with Anna's idea? I put it to the backlog. So it's in the backlog, sticking there, and months go past, actually. At some point, bing! Anna is like, hey, Peter, what about my idea? And of course, remember, he's busy. So what does Peter do? He doesn't reply. So Anna is really losing faith now. She's frustrated, and this will result in she never going to submit an idea again. Congratulations, dear corporate, you successfully broke a motivated employee. And this situation, all joke aside, is what I observed at Swisscom, but what we're observing a lot at other corporates as well. And this cartoon is the summary of it. If somebody in your company has an idea and is not maybe at the top, this person needs to run through a management chain. And all these management boards will find reasons why this is not a good idea at the moment. So death by 1,000 cuts. And that's why I strongly believe idea management should be that by now. But unfortunately, it's not yet. But it should be that. And if I talk about innovation at this stage today, I mean innovation in terms of new products, new services, or bigger process improvements. Not the small process improvement stuff, because that might be still a different approach with idea management. What do you end up with if you do it this way? You have a lot of top-down decisions. Great for your C-level because they can decide. But they will decide on gut feeling, on personal experience. They assess raw ideas. We knew nothing about the idea of Anna besides the problem solution statement she wrote herself. And always remember, for management, it's easier to say no than yes, because with a yes, there comes budget and time and ownership. Delegation of ideas in a very early stage, I have rarely seen being successful because Peter is not ambitious and not passionate about this idea. And what happened is it results in no upskilling, frustrated employees, and a very negative experience for employees. So follow me with a few mindset shifts. What if? What if we could stop playing hippo? What's the hippo? It's the highest paid person's opinion. So it's pretty much the management board member who is deciding what's happening. So what if we could stop playing hippo? If we could actually give the voice to these people having those ideas? Because that would result in the second mindset. What if we can make Anna the CEO for her own idea? If she needs to take ownership as well, that means not only taking credit if the idea was amazing, but also taking credit why this idea did not take off the ground. And what if we could stop talking about, does it need to be a 3 or 2 or 1 stage gate process? It doesn't matter. What if we could get just going and start de-risking those ideas? This is what we call idea execution at scale. It's all about execution, about de-risking those ideas. And we are by far not the first ones discovering that, obviously. There's another character I want to introduce to you. You're probably familiar with him. His name is Steve. And Steve very early on already said, ideas are worthless. It's all about the execution. We need to validate those ideas because in execution, there is millions, but we need to get going. And he also brought out a great example of entrepreneurship. Macintosh was invited by a group of people who were given a very controlled set of freedom in order to get away, do the data, and get data in and go on. And Macintosh is by far not the only example. There's Post-its, there's Nespresso, there's Happy Meal, all originating out of entrepreneurship. So if you're now sitting here, or if you bring that back to management, there was a guy on stage who talked about idea execution. The management board might think or tell you, how? How do you do this? I can't put resources on all the ideas. How do we do that? And that's what I want to bring it to you today. 5 principles, how we can actually do idea execution at scale, so that we don't need to say no to these raw ideas, because that's just a game of luck. And of course, these 5 principles are very much influenced by my experience of the last 7 years, where my daily bread and butter is Kickbox. Kickbox basically originated, as I said, at Adobe, is not just a letterbox of ideas, but it's actually the statement of empowerment to the people. They need, when they submit an idea, they need to validate, they need to gather the data themselves in order to be passed on. So you will hear every now and then a bit of Kickbox in there, but you will be able to also transfer it to your own programs. Principle number 1, build an open funnel. What do I mean with open funnel? Basically, there you have 2 options, generally speaking, when you get your innovation budget. Either you set your innovation budget on 5 or 6 big bets. For example, the bets are coming out of strategy, one is coming out from C-level. The CEO also has a pocket innovation he wants to do, and you bet it there. Or you take the money and bet it on 100 ideas. Very limited budget, very limited time, but you basically start de-risking those ideas. And wherever you see that you get data in which makes you believe this could be something big, you double down with budget on it. And there's a great quote from Alexander Osterwalder, a great corporate innovator, who said, you cannot pick the winners without investing into the losers or projects which will fail. So let's make sure that we do that very limited in finance, and let's make sure that the people who will fail, that this is a fun and educational journey for them. And this is pretty much what then this results in. Innovation gets away from this game of luck, because if you take 5 projects and you invest 100,000 each, this is a game of luck. Maybe you're going to be the next champion of the company because one went through the roof, but maybe all 5 were pretty bad because the team wasn't right or the timing wasn't right. So rather go in a data-driven approach and validate many more ideas. And this is pretty much what we started doing with Kickbox. So the moment somebody submits an idea, he or she gets a little box looking like this, and this little box will help this person, very decentralized, to find the first data points, go out to speak to experts, does a smoke test, so that we get data in to know where we can double down. Of course, after this first phase, what happens is most people realize themselves the idea is actually not as valuable. Great, you don't need to be the bad guy as innovation managers because they realize themselves this idea is actually not worth doubling down. Some people, though, will find, based on the data they have collected, a sponsor who says, yeah, that makes actually sense. They move on into second phase, which again is a box, this time blue, because with that, we can get rid of all these wordings we have with proof of concept, pilot, iteration, because I'm pretty sure we would not even agree in this room what is a proof of concept, so no chance your employee will with you agree. So make it easy, employee-driven innovation, red, blue, gold, or whatever it is in your company. And with that, innovation gets actually predictable. At Swisscom, I know exactly how many validated ideas I need to have in a year in order to be very confident to get 2, 3, 4 gold boxes out. Gold boxes meaning implemented projects. And don't talk theory. I don't like theory too much. So let's look at one concrete example. This is Anna. Well, he's a guy, but this is Anna from Swisscom. And he submitted an idea saying, look, I live in the 5th floor of my apartment. My washing machine is in the cellar. I keep walking down to realize the laundry is not done yet. So what I want to build is an intelligent tracker I can put into the washing machine, and the washing machine tells me when the laundry is done. My reaction was, all right. And then I reminded what we said, what we need to say, yes, but. Yes, you're allowed to get started, but you get a very limited time, very limited resources, and in 2 months' time, you stand up and tell us what you have learned, why you want to move on or not. He resulted in building the tracker within a month, built on Raspberry Pi, and then, because the methodology told him, go out there and sell it, realizing nobody wants to have this because everyone just uses the time on the mobile phone. But because he was the right person, it's all about people, he started iterating, and he ended up with this. The sensor, funny enough, looks almost the same, but the use case is a complete different one. By now, he's a spin-out of Swisscom, providing an office tool system in order to monitor office spaces. How are they used? Do we need to do a co-working space out of a meeting room because it's never used, temperature, etc. And this exactly shows in many corporate innovation programs, this guy with his stupid wash machine tracker would just have got a simple no, he would be frustrated and would leave the company. In the Kickbox program, he said, yes, but, very limited, but you get the chance. If you need to create an open funnel, you need to involve everyone, because it's going to be a very hard task for you as a 2-man, woman innovation team to fill up an open funnel if you only have 2 hats to brainstorm with. So you need to engage everyone. And we soon realized, and this example showed it with the wash machine tracker, it's not about the idea itself in the very first stage. It's about the people. And all the people, and really all the people in your company can participate in it, even though only 1% or 2 or 3% will be the entrepreneurs. But you can engage with others as well. And in order to engage with others, and that comes back to what we have heard today already, is of course we need to understand where is the motivation coming from. And we did a lot of research about it. So mainly the motivation comes from, I want to upskill myself. I think this is really cool and fun experience. Or I want to bring the Swisscom or the corporate forward because I truly believe my idea leaves impact. Or I want to get in a better job position. I want to do this as a jumping point into something else. And in order to understand that, when we understood that, we can actually market it differently in order to engage with people. And then we all started our careers looking for fun. Some people leave fun behind at some point. This is really sad for me. But that's something we understood, and we make sure that we actually bring fun back to the working place. So the marketing is fun. Being part of this program is fun, even though you might not reach the second phase, blue box phase, because you realize yourself your ideas might be not as good. It is a fun journey. So you open up this box. This box is actually talking to you. So you open up the box, and it takes a while, but it's basically a very inspirational learning experience. So it's actually fun to go through there. You learn a lot, and you deploy it, what you have learned. And most importantly, don't forget to, I get really upset about when a corporate tries to find innovators based on CVs. They screen CVs and say, he studied at a very good business school, he must be an innovator. This is, I can't say the word, but this is not how it works. Innovators can be everywhere, and it's really hard to identify. The only way to identify them is actually speak to them in a different way, try it, and we use a lot of gamification, as you can see, in order to get to them and get them involved, and then we actually see who is an innovator, because they're one who actually leaves impact eventually. Also an example here, another Enna. He came to us and said, guys, you claim everywhere in your marketing that you're for the visionary ones and the crazy ones. I'm both crazy and visionary, and I might have an idea. He was a school dropout. He didn't speak one single word of English, so in most corporate innovation programs, he would have not given a chance. We said, okay, let's get started, and what he actually did is he wanted to use tech to give amateur sport more attention, and he finally came out, which is a big case for Swisscom, a completely automated video system which you can use for amateur sport in order to stream it or in order to do training analysis on it. He would never have been selected otherwise. Now, if you have an open funnel where you engage all the people, it needs to be scalable, because otherwise, and that was our problem at the beginning, you have a problem because you're going to run behind these people and these ideas a lot. In order to make it scalable, we realized with a lot of failures in between, we need two things. A, automation, and B, standardization. I only show you a few examples how we do it. Standardization, obviously, this thing is already standardized. So it looks different per company, but every innovator gets this physical box, rips it open, and in here, there are the methods and the processes, which is always the same. In the red box phase, you basically analyze, is the problem worth solving? Am I the only one with the problem, or do I find other people with the problem? I mean, you know the methodology. It's based on lean startup and human-centered design, but we kicked all these complicated wordings out because they are already complicated for us in our bubble, but for employees, very difficult to understand. Secondly, standardization. The moment you open the box, there's a visible timer ticking down, and you will need to show results after 2 months or after 3 months. Doesn't matter, but it needs to be visible so that we don't create a graveyard of ideas. If you haven't done anything after this time, fine, then you're not an innovator. But happy me, I didn't invest much coaching into you because the first phase has very limited coaching. I want to do first a people assessment. And third is budget and resources. So in order to be the CEO of your own idea, every CEO has a budget. So earlier days, we put a prepaid credit card into the boxes. Compliance wasn't too happy about that because we had no idea what happens with this money. By now, it's a digital currency you can spend for services. But again, the thought behind it is very limited standard coaching, because we don't want to invest time and money and coaching, which is expensive normally, into people who haven't proven value yet or haven't proven to be motivated yet. So limited standard coaching, and then with their coins, they can invest more. Automation. We got fed up, I mainly got fed up with answering the same questions all over again. So we automated it with an email coaching. We put an e-learning environment around it so that if somebody wants to dig deeper, because the box is always the same, they can actually access this e-learning, and really actionable, learn how a smoke test, for example, is available. And very gamified with these coins, talk to a lawyer. One click, and you are finding yourself on a call with a lawyer. Great in order to remove silos. One example of a customer with us in the energy sector, 1.5 years after we launched Kickbox, that's basically the picture we have seen. Pretty much ideas from all over the world, 240 red boxes distributed, already almost 3 million in benefit in 12 patents. So a really crazy cool gamified way in order to engage with employees. Fourth is obviously break down silos. We have heard it before. In order to unleash the full potential, it's all about getting the people out of their comfort zone, getting the people out of their desk and actually talk to people. That's why we often regard a company as such a little house, where we not only talk to these 1% entrepreneurs, but also there are domain experts, such as Peter. There's sponsors, there's campaign owners, and we like to think that in this 99-1 pyramid you all know, it's basically the 1% kickboxers or entrepreneurs. The 9%, we can engage them wonderfully because they can become domain experts. And that's basically how we do it, is that we engage these people as subject matter experts. So if you want to have a marketing insight, you can just filter by it and you go after them. Or we have the service providers, which is, again, this very gamified marketplace. So very simple to use in order to bring down these silos. And fifth, and most importantly, what's the biggest risk of idea execution is not getting started. The biggest risk is actually to sit in a management board yourself and discuss for months after months, should we do a 3-stage gate process or a 2-stage gate process? How do we do the marketing? Well, I need first to speak to internal communication in order to get it right. Just get started, guys. Because iteration should be very close to our heart, and I'm pretty sure in this room it is. But let's learn on the journey. And in order to provide back a little bit to the community, we just very recently open sourced a lot of material which we're using in order to, in this gamified way, activate people. So very happy to share some stuff with you if you're interested to download it. You will find it in the slide deck, which we send across later on as well. There you can also find this little booklet, which is basically the centerpiece of the first box, where you find how do I go from a raw idea to a validated idea. Because submitting an idea and running a validation is two complete different things. So most people submit an idea and then they say like, and now what? Where do I start? So that should help you to actually get a bit of execution stuff in there as well. And with that, I would like to conclude my little speech here with, I think this is the right room to save Anna, because we have probably a very similar mindset. So let's do, instead of death by 1,000 cuts, let's do win by 1,000 tries, and let's save Anna altogether. And with that, I thank you very much for your attention. My name is Ralph, co-founder of rready. Thank you.